Good morning and welcome to the Earl Ingram Show. As always, you can join us at 855-752-4842. That's 855-752-4842 or same 855-75-CIVIC. Good morning, Calvin. How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good, Earl. How are you?
Man, how can you not be doing all right, man? I was outside over the weekend. It was 60 degrees and you felt the warmth of it. And as I was doing some yard work, for my neighbors and myself, and man, just being out, feeling the warmth of the sun. And then I find out we're going to be at 78 and 80. Hey, Calvin, it's November. Well, people can say, well, it's not November, it's a couple of days. Calvin, it's November.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. 5 years ago, I remember we had ice and it wasn't quite snow, but it was freezing rain, and there was ice all over the roads.
For Halloween, right?
Yep.
Yeah, man. It's just unbelievable. I was looking at some news that was projecting that we're going to stay in this warm weather mode for at least another week or two, man. If you can stay in 65 degrees for a couple weeks in November, man, you're playing with house money, as they would say.
Yeah, I guess we got to enjoy it while it lasts, because it's definitely not going to last forever.
Oh, yeah, man. Listen, we got a lot of stuff to talk about this morning. I don't know, man. I don't know. Did you hear about the Trump rally in New York?
Yes, I did.
You know, man, we're going to talk about the Trump rally in New York and how this man and the people who support him knows that, racism is at the root of him and the people who surround him, and how that's okay in 2024 is just, mind-boggling to me. That people who know who he is, and that you can do these things outwardly, and not try to hide it. He's so bold that he can do these things out in the public, and tens of thousands of people are sucking that up. Yuck, 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 yeah. Oh, yeah, say some more. Man, our nation is sick. It's sick. Been sick for a long time. But even more so now, when in the face of what the world knows is a man who is not well mentally, a man who is not very bright, a man who, supports bigots if he's not one himself. And yet here we are a week before the election, and he's, dead even. You got to ask the question, can we keep making excuses for people who support him? I get it. I know it's a hard pill to swallow for some. But we got to stop making excuses. If you support a person like that, you need to look in the mirror. You really do. Because there's nothing endearing about him. Nothing. Not one thing. He's a sexist. He's a misogynist. He's all of the negative things that we associate with human beings. That's who Donald Trump is. And he stands before the world in Madison Square Garden on a throne and continues to support bigotry and racism. And some in this nation think that's all right. We're going to talk about that. You know, he was in another meeting, another gathering, where he sat down with Joe Rogan. And man, maybe you missed it, but I didn't. Some of the things that he says, nobody can make excuses. Enough of people saying that's not what he meant. I heard what he said. And my lying eyes didn't deceive me as I watched it come out of his mouth with Joe Rogan. We're gonna talk about that. And for those of you who want to continue to say, well, he didn't mean it, enough already. You know, I come here Monday through Friday, and things come out of my mouth, and I mean what I say. Yeah, I've thought about it. Are you telling me that Donald Trump doesn't think about what he says? And you think that's okay? And you think a man who doesn't give thought to the things that come out of his mouth should be the president of the United States? I got a bone to pick with you. You know, on the Earl Ingram Show, we give you an opportunity on the other side of things. You know, prove me wrong. If what I'm saying is not true, 855-752-4842. Enough of people making excuses for him. Well, you know, Donald Trump really didn't mean that. The dickens you say, as the old folk used to say. Come on, man. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Calvin, I don't know if you knew it, but NASA confirms that the date of the end of the world is upon us.
Yeah.
Well, not tomorrow, but
when is it? Like a million years?
not quite a million years. We're going to get into all of that. And then we're going to get into a little bit of Calvin, the disinformation campaign. Man, and they call it the disinformation campaign. Why do we sanitize it? The disinformation campaign. Man, no, just lying. People are just lying. Well, you know, it's the disinformation campaign. Why sanitize it? We know what it is. People are just flat out lying. Oh, we're all know they're not lying. They're making stuff up. Oh, what's the difference between making stuff up, disinformation, and lying? I like the lying part. It shouldn't be sanitized. If you're a liar, let's just say that's what you are. You can't sanitize somebody not being truthful. And I don't understand. Either if you're lying, for the most part, you're lying intentionally. That's what you're doing. And then we're going to begin, Calvin, with a story. I'm an organ donor. So when I finally meet my fate, whatever it is they can use, they can have. What's left of it? I can't use it. When it's time for me to go, they can have everything. I don't care what it is. If it's useful, they can have it. Give it to somebody else, who can continue to live. I know there are a lot of people who don't agree with organ donating, being an organ donor, but I'm one, and I know I'm not alone. But we're going to talk about a story, Calvin. The Kentucky man wakes up before organ donation. Hey, man, this isn't the first time this has happened. But a man who was considered brain dead Kentucky man. He was pronounced brain dead and prepared for organ donation. He woke up before he was set to undergo the procedure. And the incident has sparked an investigation and led several people to quit their jobs. Anthony Thomas, T.J. Hoover, the second, 36, woke up multiple times before he was scheduled to donate his organs in October in Richmond, Kentucky. Nicolette Martin, an organ preservationist with Kentucky organ donor affiliates who quit a job over the incident, told USA Today. It was a big mess, Martin said. During where's it at? Okay. All right. During his honor walk, a ceremony of respect where people gather in the halls of the hospital as a donor is moved to the room where the recovery services begins, according to Health and Resource Administration, he woke up and began tracking his family members with his eyes. When his family noticed, they were told it was a normal reflex. His sister, Donna Roher, knew something was wrong because he was looking right at her, said Martin. Man, certain things are acceptable, other things aren't. For heaven's sakes, if somebody's willing to do what I think is the right thing and donate their organs, the least you can do is make sure, that they're no longer alive. How can it possibly get to the fact that the man is on the table and getting ready to open him up and take his organs, and yet he's still alive? 855-752-4842 is the number, 855-75-CIVIC, on a Motown Monday on the Earl Ingram Show.
as she passes by. I say to myself, you're such a lucky guy to have a girl like her. It's truly a dream come true. Out of all the fellas in the world, she belongs to you. But it was just my imagination.
All right, welcome back to a Motown Monday on the Earl Ingram Show. As always, you can join us at 855-752-4842. That's 855-75-CIVIC. And yeah, you know, Kentucky man wakes up before organ donation sparks investigation. You know, I'm an organ donor. And like I said before, you know, when you know, I'm no longer with the living, you can have whatever you can find, you know, that you can use, you can take. And but the tragedy in this is people harvest organs and they sell them. And, you know, why it has to be that way is, you know, it's just a part of what's wrong in our society. You know, I don't want to sell my organs. Whoever can use them. Whoever is the next person up, whoever is healthy enough, with all the different people that use organs should have them. Money shouldn't even come into the equation. But we live in America, and money is the god of our nation. So you know, here are people who we should always make sure before we even consider taking their organs, but there's a whole group of people waiting, standing in line. There's money to be made. There's gold in them thar hills. And so people are lined up for these organs. Now, this poor soul, they thought was dead. He told his family he was dead. But while a cardiac catheterization was being performed to test his heart, you know, test if his heart was healthy enough to be donated, he woke up. He woke up in response to pain during the cardiac tap, she said, because when they go up through the arteries, it's really painful. After he woke up, they sedated him. You know why? Even though they saw that the poor soul was still alive, they didn't want people to notice it. Why? Because a whole lot of people were waiting. There's gold in them dar hills. The test was done at 9 a.m., and the honor walk was supposed to happen the same day around 4 p.m. Family didn't know Hoover had woken up. Hoover was hospitalized at Baptist Health Richmond's emergency room on October 25th because of a drug overdose, according to local news station WKYT and NPR. He was in cardiac arrest for 35 minutes and pronounced brain dead, according to Martin. While the hospital believed Hoover was brain dead, the Kentucky organ donor affiliate treated him as a donation after a cardiac death case. The day after he was admitted, the family was told that he did not show any brain activity. Rohr said to WKYT, Hoover's family decided to take him off life support and were told he was a registered organ donor. Rohr did not find out about what happened to her brother when he was taken into the procedure room until Martin called her and told her in January this year. USA Today had reached the family to the hospital for comment, but has not heard back yet. Doctors walked out after signs of life were shown. Let's go to the phone lines in Charles from Milwaukee. Good morning to you, Charles. How you doing, brother?
Good morning, Earl. It's the stories like this that are not good stories for organ donation. As I've told you before, I'm 11 years out from a double lung transplant. And being a person of color, especially trying to get people of color, black and brown people, to register to be organ donors, these are the things that scare people off because you have that mindset that are they really trying to save me or are they trying to harvest my organs? And this is there will be heads that will roll behind this. People will get fired. That's not okay.
There was, man, and the woman who exposed this, um, you know, she quit because she wasn't going to go through with it. The real tragedy. It's a lot of tragedy in this, but the fact that when they found out that the man was still alive, they wanted to keep that secret. Didn't even tell the family because they wanted to harvest the organs. The doctors were waiting to do their piece, and when they found out that the man had come to, they walked out of the operating room. They were going to go ahead, the people who were in line to get these organs, and and not tell the doctors, and the doctors are going to perform the surgery. But we live in a society where money is king. Money is the God. And man, as long as that's the case, our nation is never going to be right. When you place money above human life, you're always going to be, coming up at the back of the race. 855-752-4842. When we come back, we're going to be talking about Donald Trump's, foray at Madison Square Garden on yesterday.
She doesn't even know me. Just my imagination. There's a rose in black and Spanish Harlem. A rose in black and Spanish Harlem. It is the special one. It never sees the sun. It only comes out when the moon is on the run. And all the stars are gleaming. It's growing in the street, right up through the concrete, but soft, sweet, and dreamy. There is a rose.
All right, welcome back to Motown Monday on the Earl Ingram Show. As always, you can join us at 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC. You know, I watched some of what they call the rally on yesterday with Donald Trump in New York. But, you know, I didn't have to watch it because, you know, I've got video and photographs. I've been to a Trump rally, you know, in Milwaukee, at Pfizer Forum, and I was at a Trump rally. So I know what goes on at Trump rallies. I've seen it for myself. Nobody can tell me, well, they didn't mean this. That's not what they meant. I was there. I've got video. I interviewed people. I know what takes place at Trump rallies. So when you hear those things, you know, it may surprise some of you, but it doesn't surprise me. Well, you know, we go there to be entertained. Well, people go a lot of places to be entertained. And, you know, denigrating human beings, if you consider that entertaining, well, to each his own. You know, but I don't consider denigrating human beings, you know, anything that is, you know, positive. So yesterday, Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump headlined a rally at New York's Madison Square Garden on Sunday that began with a series of vulgar and racist remarks by allies of the former president. I didn't say it. This is not the Washington Post or the New York Times. This is Reuters. This is Reuters. This article is in Reuters, even though it's all over in all other outlets. This is Reuters, and this is their words, not mine. Trump, a New York celebrity for decades, hoped to use the event at the iconic venue known for the Knicks basketball games and Billy Joel concerts to deliver his closing argument against Democratic candidate Kamala Harris. Even though the state last backed the Republican presidential candidate in 1984. Trump spoke repeatedly about his plans to halt illegal immigration, and deport migrants he described as vicious and bloodthirsty criminals if he wins November 5th. Vicious and bloodthirsty criminals. On day one, I will launch the largest deportation program in American history, he said. I will recuse every city and town that has been invaded and conquered. Well, you know, I live in Milwaukee, and the city of Milwaukee hasn't been conquered. So I don't know what city he's talking about. Maybe the city where you live, it's been conquered by immigrants. Calvin, the city where you live, has it been conquered by immigrants?
I live in a really small town, and I'm not aware of any immigrants living in my town.
Oh, that has conquered your town.
Correct.
All right. Trump called Harris a very low IQ individual and drew cheers from supporters for his tough on migrants rhetoric. Yesterday, 60 Minutes did a piece, and we're going to talk a little bit about that too, time permitting, where the real cost of trying to deport 11 million immigrants, what that would really cost. So again, he's just running off at the mouth. He's got diarrhea of the mouth, and as he says those things, the people cheer, yay! But some of the horrific things that were said, man. He vowed to ban sanctuary cities which refuse to cooperate with the federal government in enforcing immigration laws, and to invoke the 1798 Enemies Act to deport immigrants with criminal records. A long list of opening speakers varied widely from former pro wrestler Hulk Hogan. Let's see. Is this the person I want as the president of the United States? And one of his number one friends is Hulk Hogan? Hey, Calvin. Hey, man, you want Hulk Hogan hanging around the White House? Come on, man.
Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. I think Dr. Phil was at that rally too, and he made a comment about celebrities don't know anything about politics.
Hey, former mayor Rudolph Giuliani and Trump's sons, Eric and Don Jr. Now, that's a list of people, man. Yeah, I couldn't wait. Man, can you imagine? Hey, Donald Trump is coming, and I'm going to have Dr. Phil, Hulk Hogan, you know, man. Hey, Rudy Giuliani, Eric and Donald Trump. Yay, let me go and see that. But, man, some of the things they said, you know, and then this one comedian who used crass language, Tony Hinchcliffe, used crass language and joking that Latinos love making babies, and called the Caribbean U.S. territory of Puerto Rico floating island of garbage. Hey, man, didn't Donald Trump say he needed the Latino vote? What do you think Latinos are going to do when you refer to them as, and in many instances, the origins of many of them floating island of garbage? And he got, you know, rounds of applause. And then I heard people say, well, you know, Donald Trump didn't support that. But not one person who was at that rally chose to say, hey, no, we don't support that. Here it is the day after, and now they see the fallout. Oh no, Trump didn't support that. If he didn't support it when he had a chance to speak, why didn't he say it? It's because we know he supported it. You know, I will tell you. Let's go to the phone lines. Let's go to my friend CJ. Hey, CJ. Good morning.
Good morning, Earl. Thanks for taking my call. You know, I can hear the desperation in your voice.
There's no
slipping away.
Hey, listen, let me tell you something, man. There's no desperation in my voice. And just because you and other conservatives say we feel it's slipping away, you know, you guys said that before and lost. So just because you and other conservatives say it's slipping away, there are many people, including Fox News and others, who know this is a 50-50 proposition, buddy. You know, that's a fact.
He started that rally with hundreds of thousands of people trying to get in to Madison Square Garden.
Hundreds of thousands of, hey, CJ, hey, truth or fiction? Hundreds of thousands of people? Come on, man. There were not hundreds of thousands of people lined up to get in the rally, man. If you, see, I get it, man. You know, you just say anything. There's no thought. I understand why you're a supporter of Donald Trump. Because you don't give any thought to what you say. And sometimes I think, man, you know, you don't process it through your brain before it comes out of your mouth.
Earl, do you recall when VP Harris said the wall was racist and now she supports it?
Hey,
Do you
CJ.
recall when she said the border was
No,
secure?
no, CJ. I don't recall any of that. What I do recall is what I heard yesterday, and that you won't respond to, about the bigotry that was displayed at a Trump rally on yesterday. Address that.
Better off.
Address
Are you
that.
better off than you were.
I'll
4
see you
years
later,
ago?
CJ. I'll see you later, CJ. You know, so he disavows the bigotry and the racism. So when you disavow that, it means you support it. He can't respond to it any other way. It's not a big deal to him. And so that's the way it is for many other MAGAs. They don't see a problem with that. And yet here's a man who supports all of that hatred and bigotry in broad daylight in 2024. And we have a nation that half of us thinks that's okay. Let's go to Brendan from New Jersey. Good morning to you, Brendan. You say what?
Calling CJ and people like him conservative, okay? You're just a Trump chump. That's all you are, CJ. You and the whole bunch. There was no 100,000 people outside of Madison Square Garden. They didn't have that many police there. Secondly, let's talk about the list of guests. Brett Favre, who stole money from Mississippi's poorest individuals during the pandemic so he could buy his daughter a gymnasium for volleyball. Rudy Giuliani, who now doesn't have 2 nickels to rub together and does paid outgoing messages for people. Okay? Elon Musk, Mr. Ketamine himself, running around all dosed up on ketamine. Mel Gibson. So maybe we'll give Mel a couple of shots and he can tell us what he really feels about the people of Israel. Okay? Nothing but garbage, and nothing but just a repeat of 1939 when they had the Hitler rally there. It's a Klan meeting every time. And please, please, let's stop calling these people conservative. They're not Republicans. They're Trump chumps. And they're okay with anything he does, and they make excuses for everything he says, and it's all BS.
Hey, Brendan.
Chump.
Thank you very much for the call. Let's go to Gene from Eau Claire. Hey, good morning to you, Gene. Your thoughts?
Oh, boy, I got too many to state, so I'll try to keep it focused. You know, it is so frustrating to me when these people are mouthing off about how Trump don't mean what he says. Just look at what he did when he was in office previously. He didn't listen to anybody. It was all about him. He's grandiose. He's self-centered. He's reckless.
He's a
irritable.
racist. He's a racist.
Yes, unstable, aggressive, hates women, and he buries his ex-wife in his darn golf course. I mean, women, she's got blood coming out of her eyes. The women that he attacks. And rape isn't a loving thing. It's force. It's strength. It makes you a big man. That man is incorrigible. He's evil, and he's not. For heaven's sakes, he pauses himself off as a Christian with people holding their hands over him. Oh, the Lord. No, that is evil.
Hey, Gene, thank you very much for the call. Guys, 855-752-4842. A Motown Monday on the Earl Ingram Show. We'll continue on the other side.
There is a rose in Spanish Harlem. A rose in black and Spanish Harlem. With eyes as black as coal that look down in his soul and start a fire there, then he loses control. And I'm gonna beg his pardon. He's going
All right, welcome back to a Motown Monday on the Earl Ingram Show. Yeah, what you see is what you get. You can join us at 855-752-4842. I'm talking about the rally in Madison Square Garden yesterday. Donald Trump a week before the election, just full of hatred, bigotry, racism. And people, yeah, give it to them. Give them some more. Yeah. I just, for the life of me, it's hard to excuse. We understand Donald Trump. We know who and what he is. But, for all the people who cheer him on, we got to ask some questions. What is it about him? When you see this outwardly, you evangelical Christians, he's got to be completely opposite of what your beliefs are. But yet, you're willing to throw all of that away for him. Hulk Hogan, today this is Donald Trump's house. Wrestler Hulk Hogan said at the New York event on Sunday he rejected accusations that Trump is a fascist. I don't see any Nazis in here. U.S. billionaire Elon Musk, who is supporting Trump's re-election bid with his ex-social media platform and enormous wealth, was greeted to the stage with chants of Elon. This is the kind of positive energy that America is all about, Musk said. Positive energy. Elevating hatred. Is that what the nation needs? Are we at that point that's what we need? I don't think so. Let's go to Susan from Kenosha. Hey, good morning to you, Susan. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing.
All right, Bill. We lost Susan. Bill from McConaughy. How you doing, sir?
Good morning. Say, I'm going to bring you a great day, or I'm going to bring you peace. Let's just say Trump wins, because that's what everybody's fearing. Let's say he wins. All right, he wins. Number one, Kamala has to certify him the winner. Number two, he's a convicted felon and committed resurrection, and that goes against the Constitution. If you think America's going to lay over and play dead and let him walk in there, you got to be kidding me. He might walk in there, but you're not going to like the way he leaves. So, guys, I want all of you have some peace in this. Remember, the Lord's in charge of all of it. All of you, have a great day.
Hey, Bill, thank you very much for the call. Let's go to Susan. You're welcome back, Susan. You there? Okay, so listen. So here's a text message from Tom. Democracy versus dictatorship. That's what this election is all about. Tom, it's about more than that. As a person who's dealt with bigotry and racism, my entire 70 years of living, and my father and my grandfather, this is not just about democracy versus dictatorship. Man, it's about the ugly stains of the past that are coming back. And so the youth, my nieces, my nephews, who are Americans as well, who have to live with or face uncertain futures because of the racism and bigotry that is done out in the open. It's not just get out and vote. Okay? You can dismiss it, Tom, all you want to. It's more than that. And so, yeah, people are going to vote. And in the black community, they're coming out in overwhelming numbers where I live. And people are organized. But that doesn't mean you don't address what's at the root of it. We know what's at the root of this, man. And they just presented it to the entire world on yesterday. Again. Yes, if you detect some frustration in my voice, it's because this is being done in broad daylight. And it shouldn't be dismissed. 855-752-4842. You know, Joe Rogan, Donald Trump again on Joe Rogan. His words, not mine, on the other side. 855-752-4842. You're tuned into the Earl Ingram Show.
I mean, what you see is what you're getting, my baby. It's what you're getting. And the real thing is the best thing yet. The best thing yet. What you see is what you get. I got a real I got what you got. What you see, baby, it's what you get. It's what you get. It's your thing. Do what you wanna do. I can't tell you who to sock it to. It's your thing. Do what you wanna do. I can't tell you who to sock it to. If you want me to love you, maybe I'll wait. Believe me, woman, it ain't no big deal. Oh, you need love now, just as bad as I do. Makes me no difference now who you give your thing to. Oh, it's
All right,
your
welcome back to
thing.
Motown Monday on the Earl Ingram Show. As always, you can join us at 855-752-4842, 855-752-4842, or 855-75-CIVIC. You know, before we go back to the phone lines and before I get into this next article about Donald Trump on Joe Rogan for 3 hours, I just want to say, you know, this election may mean different things to different people. And as one who is in my community talking to people and trying to get people out to vote, there's nobody coming out to vote because this is a, selection between dictatorship and democracy. That doesn't fly in my community. I know my community. And so it may fly in some places, but it doesn't fly in Black America. What does fly is seeing racism and bigotry rekindled to the degree that it is. And so that has to be called out. And so my community does understand that. And so there is a distinct choice between the two. And that's just, the reality of it. Democracy and dictatorship, nice slogan. But that doesn't get people in my community out. Just doesn't. I'm sorry. Let me do this before we go back to the phone lines. Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump's 3-hour interview with America's #1 podcaster, Joe Rogan, has been released. And this is the things that I'm talking about. This is what Donald Trump is saying outwardly. And these are the things that impact and affect people who know exactly what he means. Here's a man who said the biggest mistake that he made in his presidency, 2017 to 2021, was I picked a few people I shouldn't have picked. Neocons are bad people or disloyal people, he told Rogan, referring to neoconservatives, policymakers who champion an investment in interventionist U.S. foreign policy. A guy like Kelly, he didn't say General Kelly, a guy like Kelly, who was a bully but a weak person. Trump added, mentioning his former White House Chief of Staff, John Kelly, who told the New York Times this week that he thought his former boss had fascist tendencies. Trump also described his former U.S. National Security Advisor, John Bolton, as an idiot. Well, useful at times, but he's an idiot. Let's go to Trump says he told Kim Jong-un, go to the beach. Trump said he got to know North Korean leader Kim Jong-un very well. Despite some nuclear saber rattling between the two initially, when Trump said he told him, little rocket man, you're going to burn in hell. By the time I finished, we had no problem with North Korea, Trump said. Trump said he urged Kim to stop building up his substantial weapon stockpile. Well, that didn't work too well because he certainly cultivated many of them under Donald Trump. I said, do you ever do anything else? Why don't you Go take it easy. Go to the beach. Relax. I said, you're always building nuclear. You don't have to do it. Relax. I said, let's build some condos on your shore. Yeah. Trump. I said, Vladimir, you're not going in. He told Rogan, referring to Russian President Vladimir Putin, I used to talk to him all the time. I can't tell you what I told him because I think it would be inappropriate, but someday he'll tell you. But we would never have gone in. On 2020 election, I lost by I didn't lose, asked for proof to back up his false claim that the 2020 presidential election was stolen from him by mass voter fraud. Trump told Rogan, we'll do it another time. I would bring in papers that you would not believe, so many different papers. That election was so crooked, it was the most crooked. Oh, man. People are voting for this. Harris, very low IQ. Trump lashed out at his political opponent and praised his allies, many of whom are likely to appeal to Rogan's fan base. He called his rival, Vice President Kamala Harris, a very low IQ person, stacked her credentials up to Donald Trump any day of the week. If you want to talk about low IQ people, no comparison. Trump said that Elon Musk, who has appeared on Rogan's podcast in the past, was the greatest guy ever. He also said he is completely committed to bringing Robert F. Kennedy Jr. into a potential new Trump administration. On extraterrestrial life, Trump said that he hadn't ruled out there being life in space. There's no reason not to think that Mars and all of these planets don't have life, he said, referring to discussions he had with jet pilots who seem very strange, who's seen very strange things in the sky. Well, Mars, we've had probes there and rovers, and I don't think there's any life there, Rogan said. Trump, maybe it's life that we don't know about, said Trump. Okay, Trump. On The Apprentice, let's forget The Apprentice. His health is unbelievable. Trump has been under pressure from Democrats to release his medical records after Harris released hers early this month, which concluded she was in excellent health and fit for the presidency. Trump's team said at the time that his doctor described him as being in perfect and excellent health without sharing his records. Trump didn't address the topic directly on Friday's podcast, but he told Rogan that during one physical for which he didn't give a date, doctors had described his ability to run on a steep treadmill as unbelievable. Oh, I've had stress tests done. And, you get a certain age, it's part of the process. You go in, you have the stress test done. I know I did a good job. But the doctor never told me it was unbelievable. I know I'm in better shape than Donald Trump. No question whatsoever. Because you know how I know? Because I don't eat McDonald's hamburgers in Calvin day and night. And I do walk from time to time. And I do work out from time to time. And I try to eat right. I try to get proper sleep, So I know I'm in better shape than Donald Trump. But I would never say the doctor said I'm in the greatest shape. Let's go to Susan from Kenosha. Good morning to you, Susan. You say what?
Good morning. I said I really do appreciate you on the radio, I have to say. What I wanted to say was that Madison Square Garden, he should never have even stepped foot in that, because in 1939, that was the fascist, the Nazi rally where a number of Americans actually went overseas and fought for Hitler. And how do I know that? Because my two uncles fought in that war, and one in particular fought with George Patton, and they actually captured a number of American Nazi soldiers. And one of the things that my uncle really, really hated about the end of the war is that they allowed these men to come back to the United States. But for Trump and his friends to use that kind of rhetoric, it shows that they are racist. And if people who support them, the Hispanic community or any of the other communities that support him, don't realize that he is a racist by now, they really have to get their head examined, because he is a racist. He is totally without any scruples, and he's going to do whatever he wants to do.
Hey, Susan, thank you very much for the call. Now let's go to Mike from Kenosha. Good morning to you, Mike. You say what?
Hey, good morning. Happy Motown Monday. Boy, you know, it just never seems to stop.
Did you see any of his rally
Yes, I did.
or read about it?
Snippets.
Yeah.
Both. And I try to look at, different sources, to get their perspective. I don't, as we all try to do to figure it out. But it's just amazing. The hatred, the bigotry, the racism in plain view. And yet, this 20-30% of maggots, they just follow along with it. You ask them specifically, to justify the thought. I mean, how do you account for this? And they never will respond. And the reason why is it's not defensible. They know that there's nowhere to go. I mean, it's crazy. But, I have to ask, and this is a simple question. Of all the candidates that the Republicans could have found, why did they go all in with Trump, and why now? This just doesn't make sense.
Hey, Mike, hang on. Hey, Mike, hang on. 855-752-4842. We're going to continue the conversation and at least give Mike a chance to finish his thoughts. Got a lot more to talk about on the Motown Monday on the Earl Ingram Show.
Do what you wanna do. I can tell you who to sock it to. It's your thing, yeah. Do what you wanna do. Don't let me tell you who to sock it to. Let me hear you say it's my thing. It's your thing. I do what I wanna do.
back to a Motown Monday on the Earl Ingram Show. As always, you can join us at 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC. And as you know, I'm out and about and trying to rally people to vote from my community. And you hear, Kamala Harris say we're not going back. And, and what she means by we're not going back is when you see Trump rallies and you hear the kind of things that are being said, that's what she's talking about. We're not going back. We're not going back to that time. It doesn't matter, how many people line up and may want us to go back to that time. We're not going back to that time. It was a ugly, horrible stain on the history of this nation. I don't care how many books you throw away and don't want to talk about it because it makes people feel bad. What do you think? How do you think it makes those who were, who had to deal with it, with that history, who were impacted and affected by it? We're not going back. And so when I talk with young people and try to work towards getting them out to vote, I tell them about the history. And that resonates more with them than anything else that can be talked about. Let's go back to Mike from Kenosha. Mike, go ahead.
Appreciate the opportunity to finish my thought. We're talking about, the obvious shouting out, hatred and bigotry and racism that we all witness. And yet, when confronted, the conservative media groups and certainly the conservative Republicans, the MAGA, they're so loyal. They won't even respond because, more times than not, it's indefensible. How do you defend bigotry and racism and hatred? But the question is why? Why Donald Trump? I mean, with all the other good conservatives out there, why has the Republicans decided to go all in supporting Donald Trump when, in fact, we all see him as probably the most divisive political figure of our lifetime? Why him and why now? And I can't get my mind wrapped around that. It doesn't make sense.
Hey, Mike, he says it clearly. We want to take America back. We want to make America great again. We need to ask the question, what is he referring to when he says to make America great again? What's the connotation?
They never respond. That's the whole point. They never give us an answer to our questions. We've asked that for years now. What does make America great again? What does that represent? What year? What tax code were we under?
What era? What era?
And there's never a response. We've been trying to find common ground with these guys. We've tried to sit down and work with them. And what we found is, it's like musical chairs. You keep on removing seats every time the music stops. And next thing you know, we don't trust them anymore. Last point real quick, lying eyes and lying ears. No, we got to believe what we're seeing and hearing. We haven't even used the word fascist yet this morning. We're being 911 calls to wake up are being given by Nobel economists, by national security agencies, every single one of them across the board, senior Trump cabinet officials and staff. They're all giving America the 911 call. The question is, are we going to answer? It's in our hands.
Hey, Mike, thank you very much for the call. Again, we're at a point where this is serious times, no question whatsoever. Um, and here's a man who has made up his mind he's going to divide the nation, right? He's clearly going to divide the nation as if it's not already there. Let's go to Adam from Mequon. Good morning to you, Adam. You say what, sir?
Hey, Earl. Thanks for taking my call. Great show, and as always. But responding to Mike or to his comment, why Trump or why now? I think in my estimation, I think he gave Americans that are looking for or were looking for a representation that this is our country, and I'm talking predominantly white male Americans, uh, a reason to othering the other people, whether it's black, brown, yellow, whatever color you want to associate. So that's really it's the cocaine that they were looking for, unfortunately, in a nutshell, and he provided that cocaine to them, and they can't get enough of it, and they can't let go. So that's my,
Hey,
2 cents
hey, hey,
on
Adam,
that.
Adam, let me say this to you because, I concur. The truth of the matter is America is not white. America is all the peoples of the earth, I hear. It's not, you can't identify it by white. It's all the different people coming together in this nation. That's the truth of it. Donald Trump has changed or tried to lead people down a different path. Adam, I wish I had more time. Thank you very much for the call. 855-752-4842. On the other side, Trump's deportation plan.
Nobody around, baby, just you and I.
All right. Ready? Election Day is just a week away, and Sandy Williams will be here Tuesday morning to discuss the striking difference between the two presidential candidates and a whole lot more. All right.
Try to see things my way. Do I have to keep on talking till I can go on? While you see it your way, on the risk of knowing that our love may soon be gone. We can work it out. We can work it out. Think of what you're saying. You can get it wrong and still think that it's alright. Think of what I'm saying. We can work it out and get it straight or say goodnight. We can work it out. We can work it out. Life is very short and there's no time for fussing and fighting, my friend. I have always thought that it's a crime. So I will ask you once again. Try to see things my way. Only time will tell if I am right or I am wrong. While you see it your way, there's a chance that we might fall apart before too long.
All right, welcome back to Motown Monday on the Earl Ingram Show. As always, you can join us at 855-752-4842. That's 855-752-4842. And so, listen, yesterday on 60 Minutes, Trump constantly talks about all these things he's going to do, right? Nobody ever asked him how. But on 60 Minutes, they kind of went through some things to see if it was possible that Donald Trump can deport all of these people that he claims he's going to deport. So Trump's mass deportation plan for undocumented immigrants could cost billions of dollars a year. With 9 days until Election Day, former President Trump has stepped up his attacks on the Biden-Harris administration record on illegal immigration and pledged that if elected, he'll conduct the largest deportation in American history. There are more than 11 million undocumented immigrants living in the United States, about 3% of the population. Nearly 80% of them have lived in the country for a decade or more. Listen to that. 80% of the undocumented immigrants have lived in this nation for over a decade. And Donald Trump is going to deport them. So if they've been living in our nation for over a decade, it's safe to say that they have put down roots and that they're working and that they're paying taxes and that they're good citizens. And Donald Trump is going to uproot them, if you believe what he says, and move them out and cause irreparable damage to the companies where they work, to the communities where they pay taxes, and whether they become American citizens, because he has no concept at all about what he's talking about. How realistic is the mass deportation campaign promise? What would be the human and financial costs? Let's think about it. Because he's been running off at the mouth about what it is he's going to do with no understanding whatsoever about the impact or the implications of that. And so for the MAGA folk who think, yeah, he's going to get rid of all of the immigrants, you ought to pay attention to this, and you need to ask the question. But I know it doesn't matter to you because this isn't about things that make sense. How realistic is the mass deportation campaign promise? What would be the human and financial cost? We took these questions to one of the people Donald Trump has said would join him if he wins a second term, Tom Homan, who led immigration enforcement during the first Trump administration when thousands of migrant children were separated from their parents at the border. So this is the guy who's going to put this in his hands. The blueprint of Trump's deportation plan, a questionable approach. Tom Homan, I hear a lot of people say, the talk. Tom Homan, I hear a lot of people say, the talk of mass deportation is racist. It's threatening to immigrant communities. It's not threatening to the immigrant community. It should be threatening to illegal immigration communities. But on the heels of historic illegal immigration crisis, that has to be done. Now, again, just stated, not me, 60 Minutes did the research on last night. At the Republican National Convention this summer, Tom Homan was the proud pitchman of mass deportation. Tom Homan speaking at the RNC, I got a message to the millions of illegal aliens that Joe Biden's released in our country. You better start packing now. Sounds like John Wayne to me. Over 3 decades, he worked his way up from border patrolman to acting director of immigration and customs enforcement agency known as ICE during the first year and a half of the Trump administration. This election cycle, former President Trump has mentioned mass deportation at nearly every rally. So here's what people don't understand and don't get. My eyes aren't what they used to be. But, I've got corrective glasses that make it possible for me to see clearer. I certainly didn't wear them as much when I was younger, but as I've aged and my sight has, gotten a little worse, they help me see clearly. And so what I see in my community, where I live, are many migrants working on roofs, working landscaping, working in housing, working all sorts of jobs. They're always busy. They're always active. They're always working. They're always finding a way to make a living for themselves and their families. I don't see them, running around with automatic weapons, endangering the lives of American citizens. You may see that. I don't. So when I hear people talk about that, I'm often just, I dismiss all of that because I know that's not true. It's based on what I see myself. Man, if you need something done, these are skilled people. They come here, many of them, as tradespeople. They work in the trades. The trades are lacking people. And so these people have come in and they come prepared to work. And they do a damn good job. And they're affordable. So, what's truth and what's fiction? Let's go to Al from Milwaukee. Good morning to you, Al. How you doing, man? Hey, Al.
Good morning, Earl.
Hey, Al. You can't touch this.
Can't do it. It's about time you said it. Anyway, let's take a serious thought about this immigration. Okay? Now, how many people are in the United States of America? 350 million?
Yep, or so.
Okay. Now, if you take away the American Indians who were here already and the slaves that were brought here against their will, everybody else in this country is
an immigrant, right?
Everybody. So out of 350 million, how many people would that be? That's including Trump and the Germans, that's including the Irish, that's including the Italians, that's including the Japanese, the Chinese, and everybody else. So that's just how foolish this is when you think about the history of this country. Damn near everybody in it is an immigrant. So this is just foolishness. And if people believe this garbage and go along with it, they're just as stupid as he is. Can't touch this.
Yeah, thank you very much for the call. I mean, it's just true. What is an American? 855-752-4842. What is an American? It's not a nationality. It's just not. So it doesn't matter how many times Republicans and Donald Trump want to lead you to believe that an American is somehow a European. Not true. It's the entire human family. America is an experiment. It's the one nation that you can go to where the whole human family is. No other nation has the whole human family there, all collectively living together, regardless of nationality. And that's what this nation was founded for. And so it doesn't matter if people want to change that or not. They can't change the history of that. But, if you're a MAGA person and Donald Trump has anything to do with it, he himself unilaterally is going to change that. And so he's got minions, or lemmings, if you will, who are going to, follow that. We got to get beyond that. Man, this, after all of these decades, I thought the nation was growing up and getting beyond that. And there were signs that it was. And then he comes along, with hatred in his mouth and in his spirit. And somehow we think he should become the president of the United States. And you want to see that happen? My goodness. There's got to be a pushback against that. Hey, America, what did Ronald Reagan say? A beacon on a hill? That's what America's supposed to be. All are welcome. Give us your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to be free. That's America. We're not going to let one man change it. 855-752-4842. A Motown Monday on the Earl Ingram Show.
Work it out with me, baby. Work it out with me, baby. Cut in my way. Only time will tell if I am wrong. Why you say your way? There's a chance that we might fall apart before too long. We can work it out. We can work it out. Think of what you said. You can get it wrong. I still think that it's alright. Think of what I'm saying. We can work it out or get it straight or say goodnight. We can work it out. Woo! 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 We can work it out. Oh, we can work it out. When you work it out, baby, baby, we can work it out. Oh, yeah. We can work it out, we can work it out. She's not just another woman. She's not, no, no. She's not just another woman. She's not, no, no. She's given me a newborn birth, a found sweetness on this bitter. She knows the things to say to help my troubles away. And when the words she say won't do, she'll try a kiss or two. And if a kiss has failed to move me, she'll take a little time to soothe me. She's mine, mine, mine. She knows how to console me. She's mine, mine, mine. She knows how to control me. I don't want nobody talking about my baby. Nobody talking about my baby. I never thought I'd find another who gave me more love than my own mother.
All right, welcome back to what I can't believe is the last few minutes of a Motown Monday on the Earl Ingram Show. Let's go right back to the phone lines. Let's go to Gary from Sussex. Good morning to you, Gary. You say what?
Hi, Earl. You asked what's an American. My grandparents, one came from Hungary and the other one came from Sweden. So I'm a second generation American, Sweden American. Okay. And,
Immigrant. Immigrant.
I love it.
Immigrant.
Immigrant. But in the last 400 years, we're all immigrants here.
Okay. That's my point.
And the point is that I love America. I love my wife. I'm not always happy.
Gary,
with my
nobody's
wife.
questioning whether you love your wife or whether you love America. What we
trying
are.
to make. You gotta give me a second to make my point. Okay, I love my wife, but I'm not always happy with her. Sometimes she really pisses me off. Okay, but I love my wife. I love America, and we do need immigrants in this country. That's not a problem with immigrants coming into the country. I guess the problem is getting these gangs from Venezuela, MS-13, and bad people that they empty their jails out to. If we vetted them like they were supposed to be, stay in Mexico, see, that's the problem. I think Kamala Harris would have easily won this race because Donald Trump is kind of crazy at times. And he says stupid stuff. And
Hey Gary, I have to interrupt you. Where do you have any factual evidence that overwhelming numbers of immigrants that come here are criminals and are causing the mayhem that you and Donald Trump say? You can't prove that.
All right. So let's say
No, I'm saying you can't prove it. So why are you repeating that because it's not true?
Okay. Everybody agrees that there's around 10 million immigrants that came through. Now, you know that because of...
No. Everybody doesn't agree. Yesterday in 60 Minutes said there are 11 million illegal immigrants who are in this country who've been here, and most of them have been here for a decade.
Okay. So they're in there.
That's facts.
Now, right. Okay. And I have friends and I've hired people that do not even speak English to help build my shop for me. They don't even speak English. I have to talk to a translator. But these guys are hardworking guys that show up. I have no problems with that. I just don't want, if there's 1% of the people that came in, just 1%, that's, what is that, 100,000 bad people that came in that shouldn't be in this country?
Hey, how many, you know what? I'm more concerned about an American citizen than I am about illegal immigrants doing something dastardly to me.
Right.
Okay, so what are you talking about?
I'm talking about illegal people that shouldn't be here, that are driving around, killing people, murdering.
Hey, Gary, that's an illusion. I'm more concerned about American citizens who are killing and raping and shooting. Those numbers far outweigh any illegal immigrant who's come here.
Okay, so you're not afraid. Okay, so
no, I'm not. I don't live my life in fear. No.
You don't fear for your life.
Absolutely not. I'm telling you the truth. I don't live my life in fear.
Well, I get concerned because I want people in this country that I know who they are. I don't want people into this country that I don't know.
All right, Gary. People. Thank you very much for the call. Let's go to Jim from Eden. Go ahead, Jim.
Yes. Good morning, Earl.
Good morning.
I appreciate your heart feeling, 10 minutes ago there, what you were sharing. And I just want to say next Tuesday, that's what the elections will be about, what the people desire or not. The Overton window is a spectrum of ideas.
I know about it.
On public policy and social issues considered acceptable by the general public at a given time. And we're going to find out on Tuesday what is the public opinion on all these things that you're talking about.
You know, Jim, that's what the elections are, right? That's what we have in this country that many other countries wish they had. I'm just saying that people should give it a long, hard thought before they put this nation back in the hands of a man who's not mentally well. He's not mentally stable. So thank you very much for the call. Thank everybody, because we couldn't do it without you. What makes the Earl Ingram Show go is you, the audience. Hey, Calvin, thank you as always. Up next, Jane Madnair and Greg Bach on Madnair On Air. And thank you for being tuned in to a Motown Monday on the Earl Ingram Show.
One another